The IHP content is all to support those who want to be their self. And so that is to move into your inner well-being, to move into integration of the brain, secure attachment, and out of insecure attachment, but also to understand this journey. Also, my lovely 5D mystics. So we're an integrated group because I'm an integrated group, because some of us have that mysticism. It's a really beautiful in-between, by the way. For those of us who are 5D, because we don't make up the stories of, meat eaters, conspiracies, aliens, karmics, third-party energy vampires, all that which is in that duality evil box stuff, devil. I mean, we all grow up and grew up, and right now, thankfully, we have 5D educators who are teaching the younger generation about the embodied brain, trauma-informed, somatic-informed. There's also a lot on attachment styles, which is great to see. So this episode is going to be, I'm going to try and make it more on the attachment and relationships, because we do relationships, mindful relationships. A 5D mystic is a Zen master, so we're compassionate beyond a reason. We're love buttons. Doesn't mean you did yoga or that you're in the spirituality process, no, because we're a human experience. So the whole spirituality process is a word that is used for those who are focused only on the spirituality one soul age group, and we're the Enlightenment soul age group, or I come from that. And that's a soul age group of using your brain with selflessness, timelessness, effortlessness, richness, and we actually have a collective consciousness. And when your brain moves into integration of the brain, all hands are on deck, that default mode network is downregulated, and it is a conduit. So I need to learn more on that note, but putting it to the side, because we're all people. So it's really the optimization, again, of your life as a person. The more humanity you have, the more it means you're able to feel compassion. Now, restorative embodied self is very important. That's a journey in and of itself, and every person's body and mind will lead them to what's next. Now, on that note, unfortunately, attachment styles are important, because the insecure attachment styles and the individuals who do not have a infancy with secure attachment are not, connected as much to all the spectrums of their body, because the emotional part is what suffers when you don't get met with contingent communication, and there's going to be a defectiveness shame button beneath the surface. And I learn the mind, the brain from Daniel Siegel, interpersonal neurobiology, but I also have trauma-informed courses from NICAVM. I have a lovely basic trauma-informed educational certificate from Somatopia. That's Dr. Albert Wong. He's the founder, and I love that course and all of the material. It's ongoing right now, so you're a little late for signups for this year, but you could go check it out and maybe take it next year. Sue Martin is one of my favorites. I got to learn about our charge states. So every person has charge states, for example. We're not going to get into that right now. But the good part about all that is coming out about being a human, if you stick to being a happy human, meaning you're good with our own species while others insult us, by creating movies and making us into parasites. So see, that's where 5D mystics don't make us into parasites, please. I love that human evolution is us using our brain. Curiosity is us using our brain. So while those who are in a spirituality soul age group might only want to do the ancients, we like the scientific methodology. And I'm pseudoscience lady, believe me. I'm okay with being the woo-woo lady, because I am mystic, so it's normal to me. Empirically speaking, that's something that I have something that I can explain to you. I just don't know enough of the, again, neuroscience and physics to add up those dots in time. Back to our equation of attachment styles and categories. So a person who doesn't have the basic 6 emotions and their empathy on anytime emotions arise, so dysregulated, modulated, embodied experiences, and just anyone who doesn't have a relationship with their inner world where they can sit with themselves. It's not about you walking tomorrow out of your house. No, it's when you get stressed, do you go drink? Do you go have sex? Do you go do food? What do you do? Which one of those habits have become your relief of stress? Do you notice that you're doing it? And again, this is where the trauma experts are great, and anybody who cares about their inner well-being in a human way will already be with somebody who's a good, hopefully, therapist, because there's bad ones. In the meantime, I see a lot of people that don't do any of it, and they're also in mystical land. So here's where the 5D mystics and any functional adult who's an Enlightenment, soul age group inclined person, we like to empower people to know about being a human and how awesome it can be. And while there are some educators who think you must go through human suffering, they're the same ones who don't know about love button people. Some of us don't have this suffering thing because we didn't get upset when we got sad or when we got mad or when we got disgusted or when, so the basic 6 emotions. Fear, I'm still working on that one. That one's the most uncomfortable. But other than that, I have no issue whenever something comes up. What does this mean? I don't have shame. I don't have guilt. I don't have blame. I don't have like, oh my gosh, I have to feel this way. No, I have feelings. I'm a human. What did you think? I wouldn't have any feelings? Like, so a person who's a 5D mystic with a love button will be like, what are you talking about suffering? There's no suffering. You don't have a truck on me. But we also aren't the ones who are like, oh, you can't be drama land people. No, you can do whatever you want. You do what you do. I do what I do. Be you and happy kumbaya, da 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 da. So the attachment styles, though, very important. Secure attachment people with the love button, and this is who I'm going to address right now. Please remember about healthy relationships and what those involve. Now, healthy anything is always going to be moderation. If anybody grew up in an environment, and even the quote-unquote worst environments, you will have TV somewhere, somehow, in one of them, you're going to know about moderation. And that's where I'd say the scale is not about sacrifice. It's actually about always moving in a dharma is what I'm thinking about. So the energy exchange. But it's a personal choice of how you navigate this charge. And it's just amazing. Anyways, we talk more about that in the episodes. In the meantime, when we meet people that don't know how to handle their emotions because they are emotionally insecure and immature without ownership. When I get insecure and immature, I take ownership. That doesn't mean I don't have triggers. So again, there's a difference when you have comfort with the sensations that arise because without even knowing it, as a kid, I was doing mindsight and mindfulness without knowing any of those words. You know what I did? Inner growth mindset, that's all. Let me think, feel. Okay, that's clear. Hey, this is how I'm feeling. Sometimes it wouldn't be, hey, this is how I'm feeling. It would be more like, ah. So the 2-year-old, we all have one. But the difference is that with healthy relationships, you will always not have shame, not have blame, not have fault, not have the revenge thing. So the adults in any relationship, and here's our Zen masters, and that's the community I get to build because compassionate beyond a reason is the word. Otherwise, you ain't in the 5D anything. And it means you don't know how to handle somebody who has unresolved trauma, who may not ever want to move out of their insecure attachment style because the movies make it look too cool to stay in this restrictive energy and they don't even know that they're nervous. There's so many things that we connect the dots to. So healthy relationships equal when people look at you with respectful eyes and then they have, at the very least, a direct tone with you and compassion. And they don't shame, blame, fault, or do any of the revenge stuff. If there's gaslighting, manipulation, if they're weaponizing, and you know how many people think that they're actually not weaponizing when they use psych education words because you're not going to meet their, you have to choose a side. Okay, so this is why it's not a competition. Healthy relationships means you're not competing with another person. You have a name, I have a name. You and I are differentiated selves. That's number one. So I'm going to think and feel a certain way, and you're going to think and feel a certain way, and we can talk about it if we have empowered egos. That's another number two. If you're not a functional adult yet, well, guess what? You got a child who's going to want to compete with you, and they're going to begin getting all in their charge. You know what a Zen master does when somebody's all up in it? Okay, are you done with the floor? Good. Bye. That's it. We actually don't want to prove shit because we don't have anything to prove. Here I am, and you just took over the floor because obviously whatever was bothering you inside had so much more importance than I don't have to talk about something when you're upset. And it's okay to be upset. We're all humans. This is the point. So emotional immaturity and insecurity is not a shame, blame, fault, or again, revenge. It's not a competition. Healthy relationships have direct conversation. When we get upset, if we can talk about it, we do. If we can't, we don't. You're not going to get people who don't want to move into emotional maturity into that. They're going to stay within whatever realm and pattern they've decided, with or without the trauma informed. It doesn't matter. You know how many times I've shared with people stuff and they're like, oh no, it's not true. Yep, okay, it's not true. Have fun with your emotions. So have fun with good emotions, be compassionate, be kind, and when you meet people who basically are blind, leave them to it because they have other people to hang out with.